Watch this video to complete the workbook page Kitty Cat from the My First Piano Adventure Level B writing book. Let's get ready to start. Go ahead and open your writing book to page 56, grab a pencil, and you will want to be sitting at the piano for this lesson. This is the page that you should be looking at in your writing book. Kitty Cat is a sight reading exercise. We're going to start by following the directions at the top of the page. The very first direction tells us to circle the time signature. Can you find the time signature and circle it? The time signature is two numbers on top of each other that look kind of like a fraction found at the very beginning of the music, and the time signature for this piece is 3/4. The 3 at the top of the time signature tells us that there should be 3 beats in every measure of this piece. Take a look at the first measure of the piece. I've outlined the 3 beats. We're going to continue to count the beats and insert measures throughout this piece. Follow along as we do line 1 together. This is what your first page should look like. Now it's your turn to put the bar lines into page 2 after every 3 beats. Go ahead and pause the video while you finish that and start it again once you are done. Okay, have you finished page 2? Let me show you what your page 2 should look like. This is how your bar line should be written on page 2. Go ahead and check your work against these. If anything looks different, no worries, just erase your line and move it to the correct place. These lines are set so that every measure has 3 beats in it. I'm going to jump back to page 1 and look at the next instruction. Next, the book asks me to write the word clap with 1 letter in each of the red boxes on the page. Okay. Can you do it with me? C-L-A-P. CLAP is an acronym that helps us get ready to do very best sight reading that we can do. An acronym means that each letter stands for something else. In this case, each letter in CLAP stands for a part of the process. Today, we're going to go to another area to prepare to do our sight reading. The next slides will walk us through everything that we need to know about this music to prepare to play this piece. So remember, CLAP is something called an acronym. An acronym means that each letter stands for something else. In this case, C stands for count the rhythm, L stands for look at the starting notes, A stands for attention or pay attention to what comes next, and P stands for play without stopping. Let's examine each of these more closely and prepare to play our song at the same time. Have your book open and ready to take notes onto your music, and this is a good time to make sure that you are at the piano because we are getting ready to play soon. The first letter in CLAP is C. C stands for count the rhythm. In this step, you tap or clap the rhythm. Today, we will be clapping. We're also going to level up by speaking the numbers while we clap. We have to remember that the time signature is 3/4, which means we need to count in 3/4 time before we start clapping. And we will do that by saying 1, 2, 3, ready, set, go. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, ready, set, go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Great job. The next letter in clap is L. L stands for look at the starting notes. The fact is, we have to know where to put our hands to start, otherwise we can't begin. First, we need to find the starting notes. I'm going to highlight them on this page. You can either highlight them or circle them on yours. And now we need to identify what these notes are. Do you know what this note is in the right hand? The note that is on the bottom line? Yes, that is an E. Notice the music tells us that your third finger goes on E, which means that your thumb will actually be on C. Now, do you recognize those left-hand notes? The top note, we can say A is on the top line, step down to G, and the bottom note is C. It looks like our hands are going to be in good old C scale position. Let's take this step a level up. Can you put your hands on top of the keys of your piano where they will go to start this song? And look at where your third finger in your right hand is and your left hand 1 and 5. Those will be your starting notes. The next letter in clap is A. A stands for attention. We need to pay attention to what happens after the beginning. This is a big step with a lot of things for us to look at. The very first thing we need to do is to look at the notes that come after the beginning and determine what direction they travel. Do they go up, down, or stay the same? We're going to start by looking at the left-hand notes in line 1. These notes look like they are staying steady. They are the same, they are not moving up or down, and I also notice that's a tie, which means that's one note that I'm going to hold for 6 whole beats. Now we're going to start looking at each measure of the music to see if they are moving up, down, or repeating. The first 3 measures are all moving down, and then there's one leap up at the end of that line. In the next line, it looks like the first measure is moving down, but then the next measure is moving up. And the third measure looks like it is not moving, it is repeating. So I'm going to draw a straight line. And then once again, we have a leap down at the end of that phrase. Then in the next measures, it looks like I am moving down again 3 times and taking another leap up. And then I'm moving down, up, repeating, and leaping down again. Do you see any patterns in this music? I see a couple of them. The first thing I notice is that this first measure, E, D, C, is repeated several times. I'm going to draw smiley faces over all of the places where I am repeating those notes so that I remember that they are exactly the same. I see another big pattern too. The entire block of notes at the beginning of the second line is repeated in another place in the music. Do you see where that is? Can you put a box around it? Okay, we're going to level up in this step too. Specifically, we're going to do that by looking at the dynamics. Remember, dynamics are the louds and quiets of music, so I am looking for places in the music that tells me to be loud or quiet. I see a mezzo forte in the beginning of the music, and I see a piano at the end of it. I also notice that the music tells me that this is meant to be playful. The last letter in clap is P. P stands for play without stopping. To do this our best way, we're going to set a slow and steady rhythm and count in a whole measure before we start to play. That means we're going to say 1, 2, 3, ready, set, go. That helps us to know our tempo and to keep it as we begin to play. When we sight read, we also want to keep going no matter what. That means that even if we make a mistake or we forget a note, we do not stop. We just keep playing until the end at our very best. We can level up if we make a mistake by trying again and repeating our attempt to sight read. Each time we're not going to stop while we're actually playing. I think we're ready to do this. I'm going to go back to the other slide where we had made all of our notes, and you should get your book up on the piano and ready to play. Before we start, make sure that your hands are ready in position, and remember we're going to count in with a 1, 2, 3, ready, set, go before we begin. 1, 2, 3, ready, set, go. You did it. You sight read. Now, it might not have been perfect. You might have made a mistake. There is an old adage or a saying that says, if at first you don't succeed, try again. So if you need to, this is a good place to pause the video so that you can give it a couple more tries. I'm going to head back to the writing book page, and you can see here at the bottom of page 2 that there's one more activity for us to do. We are going to play an improv duet. Remember, improv means to make it up on the spot, which means you get to make up music to play along with me. Duet. I'm going to play the teacher music, which is at the bottom of the page, and you get to put your hand in a C5 finger scale and play any notes that you want to play while I'm playing my melody. So let me move the camera and we'll get set. Okay, if your hands are in C scale position, we will start. Remember, you can play any of the notes in the C5 finger scale that you would like to. 1, 2, 3, ready, set, go. Great job. This was a big activity. We had a lot to do and you did wonderfully. Like always, I'm going to give you a check, a star, a plus, and a smiley face. Great work.